Can you beat Fallout New Vegas as a cannibal? I wanted to see if it were possible for me to complete the entirety of Fallout New Vegas in hardcore mode, only eating the sweetest and tastiest of meats, human flesh. I would refrain from eating anything else in the game except for meat provided by the cannibal perk. Any other food was off limits regardless of how hungry my character got. We start with the usual setting of going through the intro with Doc Mitchell. Nothing special here, all standard stuff, although I did decide to call my character Fleety E.T. and made her the hottest cannibal around. Whoops! Can't have casual nudity on this Christian site. Let's get to the senseless killing and murder. That's much better. We enter the saloon, and as it turns out, my mods don't just make my character sexier, they have an effect on other female NPCs throughout the Mojave. Thankfully we're safe from Judy. Nobody wants to see that shit. They're like two half-deflated balloons, all wrinkly and shit. We do the initial tutorial, and Sunny compliments us on our bottle killing skills. We end the tutorial there, as we really don't need to be told how to play the game. I have a disgusting amount of time in Fallout New Vegas.
Oh my goodness!
After that, we talk to Trudy or Judy, whatever her name is. We speak to Ringo, and then we head off towards the NCRCF. After being charged for entering the prison, we talk to the cook, who's a bit of an egg-loving fanatic.
Scramble them real good.
And that's where we'll leave it for today. Come back next time for the exciting adventures of Fleety E.T. the Cannibal, which is right now. I do a few jobs for the Powder Gangers, and after doing a couple of jobs for them, the NCR decides that they're going to take back the prison. Not sure why they thought blowing holes in the high security facility would make it easier for them to secure, but I guess that's military intelligence for you. Speaking of intelligence, despite the NCR storming the place and killing nearly everybody there, the Powder Gangers have now decided it's the best time to attack Good Springs. It's a team effort, but we managed to beat off all of the Powder Gangers. Unfortunately, Punch and Trudy doesn't make it. With the Powder Gangers all dealt with, we're free to move on to Prim. We sneak our way into Prim, taking care of the local nondescript Powder Gangers. We stage a daring one-woman raid on the Bison Steve Hotel, and halfway through I decided that all this killing is making me hungry. It's at this point that I used the local mod menu to increase my hunger to 1,000 a day, as I felt that this didn't prove to be much of a challenge if the food takes up to a full 24 hours to go up or down in this case, by 200 food. Instead I decided to make it go up a full 1,000 food every 24 hours. For reference, once you hit 1,000 hunger or starvation points, then you die. This will hopefully add some much needed challenge in this one, as previously I hadn't eaten anything and had already cleared out 2 areas. After this change, me and some guy named Beagle decided to double team this Powder Ganger. We make a great team, him firing blindly into the wall less than an inch in front of him, and me swinging my machete like a mad lass. It was at this point I had sufficiently levelled up enough to finally become a cannibal. With our business concluded in Prim, we head out into the wilderness to get a taste of freedom. With my newfound freedom, I decided to make the worst choice of my life by attacking these usually docile rams. It doesn't end well. We arrive in Nipton and we leave it like a curry does going through a bowel movement. We just pass straight through. There's nothing good to see here, so we leave the burning mess behind without checking out any of the damage we left behind.
This now concludes the toilet humor quota required for this video.
Continuing onwards, we are assaulted by a particularly aggressive traffic cone with an explosive temper. After the traffic cone, we come across some equally aggressive members of society called the Vipe. It's a cool sports team name, but it's a little lame for a gang, and believe me, I know all about being lame. I guess they evolved from the tunnel snakes into vipers. After a scuffle with the local scoundrels, we meet up with the local travelling merchants who appear to be heading in the same direction I am, so I decided to team up with them. Safety in numbers and all that. Suddenly, a stray javelin comes flying out of nowhere, and I guess the merchants take great offence to the local jocks. Unfortunately for me, they turned out to be part of my local sports team. Now we'll never make the playoffs. With my heart full of sorrow at the loss of my sports team, I decided to honour their memory in the most respectful way possible by taking all of their shit. Continuing onwards, we meet our rival sports team, the New Californian Republic. I quickly undress as our rivalry goes back years. Walking into Novak, we enter the giant dinosaur and talk to Boone. We pick up his quest and we do it for him.
I need someone
No mystery here anymore, just a one and done.
I hope you're...
It's at this point we finally start to feel the hunger. May becomes our first feast. Considering her age, it's probably like eating well done steak. It's a terrible crime, and you people that ask for your steaks to be cooked well done, you're a monster. We sneak into a nondescript building and eat the settlers in there. Walking down, we see a rather tasty looking Newman. Despite his name, he's not a very new man.
Boo! You suck!
It's fucking awful. It's fucking awful. Boone seems pretty happy to help me sate my cravings. He just guns down innocent people so that I may feast. We sneak into the rancher's house and attack his wife. I eat his wife right in front of him. He doesn't seem to care, so I guess he's fine with it. We eat him and a few others. Finally, we head up to the dyno and talk to Manny. The two snipers have what is the equivalent of a slap fight with their rifles. Boone finally blows Manny out of the mouth of the dyno. I was going to eat that. We end up rolling into Boulder City, a bombed out dump of a city, although it's actually more of a town than a city. We meet up with the local NCO at Boulder City. There's something of a situation brewing. The local gang has taken NCO hostages. Now, I don't particularly care about them, but they have what I need. I talk to them and they need somebody to help them. I go and talk to the Great Khans. I don't currently have the ability to release the hostages, but thankfully after the conversation I have with him, I get a brain blast. I get to level up and get a few points to put into speech. I speak to him again and he agrees to release them. Heading back to the NCR leader tells us that he has orders to kill them all. Fuck it, more food for me. Have at it, lads. Somehow the Great Khans know that I betrayed them despite them all dying. Not sure how they managed to let home base know that I betrayed them, what with them all being too busy dying to phone home, but whatever. All I know is I'm eating good tonight, boys. Suddenly Victor appears out of nowhere and we leave Boulder City and continue onwards.
Fancy meeting you here.
We make it to Freeside and sample some of the local cuisine. It tastes like freedom. We head to the New Vegas gate and for the first time in history I don't have enough caps to enter into New Vegas proper. So we decide to pick up a couple of odd jobs here and there, working for the local laser dispensary, do some bodyguarding, and the local casino wants some late night entertainment. The type that usually involves something. I'm not quite sure what, I've never had the chance to find out. With our jobs done, we make it into New Vegas. Not a lot to say here. We talk to Mr. House, we talk to Benny, we talk to Yes Man. We get told we're forgiven by both sports teams and we leave NV. That's how the cool kids say New Vegas.
How do you do, fellow kids?
We enter the fort, talk to Caesar. He tells us to blow the fort up. We turn on the robots. We head back to Caesar. Jesus, this is written like shit. He tells me that he's proud of me and gives me more emotional support than my dad ever did. He tells us to deal with Benny. My initial thought is to fight Benny fair and square in the arena. As it turns out, that was a massive mistake. Fighting him fairly is out of the question, so I decided to kill Benny in what must be the most painful way possible, by using him as a speed bag. This was literally 30 seconds of me punching him in the face, so I had to speed it up. After all that, I had worked up a big thirst for human meat. I decided to return to a location that I knew would be full of semi-fresh food. We eat Trudy, we eat Easy Pete, and we eat Chef. Fuck's sake. We travelled back to the NCRCF. Seeing as I figure that if you can't kill a building full of killers consequence-free, then who can you kill? It would be immoral not to kill and eat them. At least then they provide something of use to society. As it turns out, the NCR are still trying to clean up the prisoners. Turns out there's a reason for that. I decide there and then that these guys deserve to live. I'm not going to bother those guys again. At this point, we're so hungry, we head to the local vault as it's been converted into a hotel. We look around the vault for other snacks. We meet a couple more people that are happy to sacrifice themselves from the cause. Looking to escape as quickly as possible, we fast travel to the fort, forgetting that Boone is a severe NCR supporter and will absolutely refuse to leave the other sports team alive. Still, it makes more food for us, and the rest of Caesar's Legion don't seem to care as long as I leave him at the gate. At this point, we have to go and check out the rest of the tribes and big groups of Nevada. Onwards to the boomers, and we get possibly the most painful death one could suffer, slamming into the side of a 50s style car. I'll be skipping ahead, but let's just say I died and died and died and died and died, and then I had the smart idea of using a stealth boy and being completely invisible, and then dying. Finally make it inside, and they want us to talk to Pearl. After all the stress they put me through, I was sick of their shit, so I ate the bitch's face. Leaving her hut, I see a boomer in power armor. I decide to stealth attack her, but apparently there's no such thing as danger close with the boomers. We sneak into the hangar, and we are double teamed by two guys with sledgehammers. Having no chance of taking them both on at once, I fire a pea at the old man. This gets his attention. After a painful fight, he goes down, and I eat him as well. Boom is dealt with, let's move on. We're supposed to go to the Gomorrah and find out what the plans of the owners are, but I really don't have time to deal with that shit. I go straight to the big boss and punch his ticket. With him dealt with, we head to the Brotherhood of Steel base. They steal all my stuff and place a bomb collar on me. I try to get help, but as it turns out, they don't appreciate that.
Situation handled.
With the ranger dealt with, we are given free range of the base. I head to the local computer lounge to look for information, but the system has been infected by a virus somehow. Without the science skill to lock the virus down to set terminals, this is unbelievably frustrating. After trying about 5 or 6 times, I just lost my temper and decided fuck it, it isn't worth it. I initiate the self-destruct feature that comes included with all software. We go back to Mr. House and he tells us to power up the last of his robots. We head to the power station and thankfully there's a few snacks that are just going to sleep. I'm able to kill and eat them before they even have a chance to wake up. After installing the chip and turning the robots, we storm the dam. Heading across the dam, we fight our way to the control room. Unfortunately, I don't have the speech steel to get rid of these 2 guards out of the way. Thankfully, these guards apparently have a perception of 1. I take care of one of the guards, and despite the guard's legs literally exploding, the other guard doesn't notice. Boone does unfortunately notice, which is a shame because he decides he no longer... Boone does unfortunately notice, which is a shame because he decides he no longer wants to work with us. That sucks for him, because he just became lunch. And let me tell you, he makes good food. Heading on through to the other side, we finally meet up with the Legate. Normally I defeat him with a series of speech checks, as that makes the boss fight super easy. Not this time. He kicks my ass over and over again. I decide that I'll take him by surprise, as I've been saving something just for this event. Unfortunately, my assassination attempt goes wrong. Who knew that 1% chance to hit would fail? XCOM always told me differently. It just made him look super cool. We finally kill him, and then the NCR turn up. Unfortunately, they also won't take no for an answer. We're forced to take them down. Finally, the only thing left to do is wrap up.
You know, I've had thousands of employees in my time. Few met my expectations. Fewer still surpassed them. Your performance has been nothing short of spectacular. If I have need for a specialist of your stripe again, I'll know just where to turn. Back to Vegas, shall we? I really should do something about that monorail with all the new resources at hand. I can make sure it not only runs, but runs on time. Always bothered me, the imprecision. The General's accident was unfortunate. With Kimball dead, the angry Californian public could have used an alternate scapegoat to pillory. In any case, Vegas might see a dip in revenue for a year or two, but eventually the tourists will come flooding back, and their money with them. Vegas will be a shining jewel in the middle of the desert, an oasis of light, a beacon to show mankind the way to the stars. This is just the start, you see. This is where it all begins.
And so the courier who had cheated death in the cemetery outside Good Springs cheated death once again, and the Mojave wasteland was forever changed. Mr. House's Securitron army took control of Hoover Dam and the Strip, pushing both the Legion and the exhausted NCR out of New Vegas. Mr. House continued to run New Vegas his way, a despotic vision of pre-war glory. The streets were orderly, efficient, cold. New Vegas continued to be the sole place in the wasteland where fortunes were won and lost in the blink of an eye. The courier, fair and kind-hearted to those in the wasteland, ensured that Mr. House would keep New Vegas stable and secure for future generations. Mr. House afforded her every luxury at his disposal in the Lucky 38, both out of gratitude and a quiet pride in his choice of lieutenants.
Black Mountain Radio continued to broadcast its peculiar form of propaganda. Raul Tejada faced his execution each day, though pardoned in the end. Travelers venturing too near Black Mountain continued to be harassed by Tabitha's followers.
Without organized leadership, the remaining boomers slowly drifted away, leaving Nellis Air Force Base to be flooded by prospectors and scavengers. All of the boomers' accumulated knowledge quickly scattered, and their existence slowly faded from memory.
Buried beneath tons of rubble, the Mojave chapter of the Brotherhood of Steel was no more. Those few who were outside the Hidden Valley bunker when it was destroyed settled into new lives, or headed west to find a new chapter to join.
The Fiends staged an attack against Camp McCarran during the Second Battle of Hoover Dam. During the NCR's retreat, the Fiends overwhelmed many of the troopers before Mr. House's Securitrons could deal with them.
After Mr. House gained control of New Vegas, he sent a Securitron to Good Springs as a token of appreciation for helping the courier. Victor was a mixed blessing, however, as he continually monitored the town for Mr. House.
Flush with his victory, Mr. House sent Securitrons into Freeside, thinking to increase his control over the area. When fighting broke out, the Kings fought valiantly, but were no match for the armored killing machines, and were wiped out to the last man.
Tired of waiting for the world to be done with him, Boone ventured into the wastes to make his own way out. Unable to clear his mind of the past, he was at last granted the death he'd awaited, bringing final rest to a life that had ended long ago.
The NCR, battered by the loss of the dam, were unable to devote any troops to retaking the correctional facility from the powder gangers. As a result, powder ganger raids on caravans became an unfortunate fact of life in the Mojave for years to come.
Armed with a wide array of improvised explosives and stolen weapons, the Vault 19 powder gang tormented the Mojave wasteland for years. Citizens of the NCR were favorite targets, and they always suffered the worst fates.
And so the courier's road came to an end, for now. In the new world of the Mojave wasteland, fighting continued, blood was spilled, and many lived and died just as they had in the old world. Because war never changes.